Welcome to the Rusty Bug Podcast.
Okay, hi all. Today we are joined with some of the production cast of Wonka. Today we have Mrs. Hickson-Mahony.
Hello.
Anna Bradshaw.
Hi.
And Mary Buerta.
How are you guys all doing today?
Fabulous. It's last night. But the last night excitement.
When you were putting together this play, what sort of problems did you come into with putting it all together?
Okay, so originally I wrote this play for high schools. So it was Rustenburg High School and Rondebosch High School combined, and we had a cast of 30 people. So my first obstacle was to create a play that could have 350 odd children on stage instead of just 30. So that was obstacle number one, but we overcame that. We added loads of cool goodies. We created some adverts in classes with grade 6. We really milked the Oompa Loompas. So I think that was probably the biggest obstacle. But other than that, I don't think there's been hardship. I think everyone's jumped into their roles really well. The classes have been super excited from the beginning. It hasn't been really difficult at all.
Yes, definitely agree. Okay. And Anna, you're Willy Wonka, so the main lead. How did you impersonate Willy Wonka himself?
Well, Willy Wonka is an eccentric, vibrant character. So a lot of the time I'm drawing from my day-to-day life because I try to be as vibrant as I can. So he actually came quite naturally to me, Willy Wonka. And you, Mary, also being a lead in the show, would know that we've put a lot of effort and time into the show. So we've really had a lot of time to embody our characters and really get to know them and become them.
I just want to add in here, just a little note, that when I was casting the play, it was really difficult to cast because we had so much talent and so many girls auditioned. And Anna, you in particular, could have played every single role. I had you as a maybe for every single role. And that's something quite astounding. So you've definitely got the goods, and Willy Wonka sits so beautifully on your shoulders. You just embody Mr. Willy Wonka as I imagine him to be. I think the Tim Burton movie has given Willy Wonka a creepiness that I don't think is necessarily there. I think he's quite sneaky in a lot of ways, but I don't think he's a creepy dude. And you've brought to life the Willy Wonka that I've always imagined.
My pants help a lot.
For those of you who don't know, Anna has beautiful pants with a vibrant fabric that really impersonates Willy Wonka's character.
Yeah. So Mary and Anna, so as your characters, Willy Wonka and one of the Sweet Sisters, how do you connect with that character? How do you feel like you link with them?
I think... So I'm a sweet sister, so I think it's important to remember that they're telling the story, and so they have to be neutral. So they can't really pick sides with all the bratty people and ticket winners that you meet along the way. Charlie is definitely a favorite, though. There is a bit of favoritism. But you've really just got to remember that you're seeing the good in everyone. Yeah. So it's important to remember that.
And Anna?
I think... it wasn't very hard for me to connect to Willy Wonka. I always thought that maybe I'd watch the movie beforehand and really get to know creepy Johnny Depp. And then I realized, no, that's not what we were going for, and that I really just have to be myself a lot of the time and really project.
You do that very well.
Yeah, I think she does.
I don't think Anna really needs a mic in the show. We'll just throw that mic away and she could do it without.
Yeah, definitely. Mrs. Hickson, when you were putting together the script, what did you use as inspiration?
Oh, well, I sat, when Roald, Dahl and I sat down to write this play, I wish it was like he was the voice in my head. So I had the book. I went 100% from the book. I didn't have any references to movies, either the first or the second one. So I wrote with his book in mind. And what I tried to do was envisage the whole world of this place. And I didn't want to define it as specifically one city in our real world. So I wanted to make it just this abstract city. So I wrote it trying to build the story, to tell the story, and have those very well-loved characters come to life, but without the confines of what we've seen before and the confines of the book. So there's the loose thread is definitely there, and I've used a lot of text from the original book, but the filler scenes are all ours. So that was loads of fun to write, but always with this idea in mind of Roald Dahl's influence and the way he writes is just so out there and kooky and funny. He
was ahead of his time.
Way ahead of his time. It just is amazing. It flies off the stage. These lines are well loved. And it doesn't matter how many times you hear them, you love them every single time. That's how I feel with the Oompa Loompa poems. I can hear them over and over. They're hilarious. You pick up something new every time.
Yeah. And you mentioned that this book is such a well-loved one. Did you feel any pressure when you were trying to make it almost as great, the script?
There's no way that I could compare myself to Roald Dahl. I'm just streets away, from miles away, towns and cities and continents away. There was pressure, of course, but I think the pressure that I feel is more to create a vibe that I'd like the audience to feel. So I'm always really conscious of what the audience is feeling every step of the way. And I try to, with lighting, with sound, with scripting, with characterization, I try to create that feeling for the audience, to take them on the journey with us. Because they're part of it. That's what live theatre is. Yeah. It's not a cold film. It's these people are in front of us. It's an amazing way to tell a story.
And your character really comes to life when you've got an audience in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Because then, I can't really drift off into space now. Because you've got to stay animated the whole time. But
and you definitely do. And we saw that yesterday. So our first show yesterday had a very small audience of about 100 people. And I went from class to class yesterday morning saying, we're going to only have 100 people in the audience and it's going to feel different. So we need to give everybody the same show. We need to keep our energy high so that everybody gets, their ticket price worth of entertainment, and let's just enjoy it and, send it up. And you could really feel the difference in energy, between the night before was 525 people to about 100. It's a huge drop. Yes. But the energy was sustained. They were unreal. And it's that understanding, Annie, that you were talking about. You said, you've got to keep it together. You've got to stay in character 100% of the time, and that's what sells the show. Yeah. You're all doing that.
So, Anna and Mary, as the leads, did you ever feel, since you've put in a lot of work with this play, did you ever feel like there was a time to quit because all this work and you just having the nerves take over you?
Over my dead body.
No. Yeah. From me, definitely no. Because as soon as I saw on the paper that I was Willy Wonka, I knew, okay, there's no backing out now. And I didn't want to back out because I knew either it would be Mrs. Hickson-Mahony looming over me with a knife or no, I love acting. So there was no way I was going to.
It would have definitely been a prop knife made out of foam. Let's just put out
Put
a
it out
disclaimer for the listeners.
I think for me, I love acting, and acting is my life. So there wasn't really an option of dropping out for me. Yeah. It was just acting all the way. So
I was really hoping they would drop out, actually. I wanted, at least one cast member to say, I can't do it, so I could wear their costume and I could go on stage.
Well, now the truth comes out.
Yeah, I haven't given anyone any laxatives or something that would keep them from performing yet.
Well, the tea,
there's
maybe.
There's one night to go. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, Anna, as Willy Wonka, you have many amazing lines, but what was your favorite?
That's very tricky.
Maybe an insult.
I love my relationship with Mike TV. I think it's an incredibly... I really love teasing him in little ways. And I know that he can't get back at me because I'm this glamorous, incredible person. And he's not in my books. But still, I love the relationship that we have together and the lines that we say together. So in the TV room, there's one specific moment where our lines just flow into one another, and it's Mike's just been turned into a tiny TV character, and I'm talking with Mr. TV, and I'm saying, who knows how far he'll stretch? Maybe miles. Miles, he'll be ever so thin. Oh, don't worry, we can fatten him up again. And then stretch out his toes. His toes? Yes, to match his fingers. And I go on and on a bit.
But he'll be able to play the piano with his feet.
Mm-hmm. And previously, I just loved teasing Mike on stage.
And Mrs. Hickson, when it came to designing sets, what was your thinking behind that?
So I had a very clear vision for that. In the first half of the play, I wanted it to almost feel like a kid's colouring in book without the colour. So the first half of the play is colder, everything is monochromatic, so it's black and white all the way through the whole of the first act, and the only colour that we see are the characters that come into the scenes, so they add the warmth. And then from Act 2, when we go into the factory, then it's like we've coloured in pages of the book. So there are elements of colour that are brightening and warming, just like Wonka's chocolate and sweets do for the people of the town. And I think it really worked well. The only person that has actually told me they got this was Anna's brother, who, if you're listening, thank you very much for understanding my vision. But I hope everybody, even if they didn't understand it, they felt it. The warmth definitely comes in Act 2. There's a bit more magic, and that's what Wonka brings to the world.
True. Yeah. And Mrs. Hickson, do you have like a deeper meaning to Wonka? Because for the audience, they see it as funny and like more of a crazy film. But did you have like a deeper meaning to it? Well,
I think we've alluded to it already. I think Mary spoke about this, but seeing the good in everyone is always something we need to aspire to. We try to do that. It's not easy to do that all the time. And being a good person, just, living your life the way, decently, with good morals. And if you can be someone who is relied upon to be steadfast and honest and kind, these are the things that we need more of in this world. I think the focus is probably on that. And we were chatting in the hall today, and we said that it's almost like Roald Dahl looked at a number of different kids maybe he knew, and he was like, oh, this one just watches TV all day and, the square eyes thing and can't really sit in the real world with everybody else and is a bit of a nasty kid. Then the one that is incredibly rude and spoilt and gets everything they want, doesn't care about anybody else or the price of anything. They just want what they want. And then, Violet Beauregard is a strange character because really she's just in it to win it. She'll push anybody else down. So you get those children as well, for sure. I'm sure we know some of those. Hopefully after they've seen the show, they'll think twice and be better. And then, who have I forgotten?
No.
Augustina. So we changed Augustus Gloop to Augustina Gloop because we thought that would be better. And Augustina is just a greedy, self-obsessed, food-obsessed child. Gloop. She's delightful. That is such a cool character. Beth plays her so well. And Gia as her mom, the two of them are a comic duo.
Stunning.
They are hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Look forward to that if you're seeing the show tonight. And if you didn't get to see the show, hopefully there'll be a video for you to see. Look out for the two of them. They are awesome.
There's the ones that are very fat.
Not even so very fat, but they move very nicely in the fat suits. It's quite interesting to see those kind of 4 horror children and then Charlie. And Charlie's meant to just be a pure, kind-hearted kid who gets on with things. There are a lot of struggles in Charlie's life. In our play, Charlie's a girl. And there are a lot of struggles. Charlie's incredibly poor. They don't even have enough bowls to feed everybody. They have to share spoons. Probably only because we broke several bowls in our second show. But anyway, that's what happens when you have real porcelain on stage, Mrs. Hickson-Mahony. I actually made those bowls for the children. And then they got smashed.
They are well remembered.
Yeah, I'll make some more. When I get back from holiday and I can get back into the swing of doing anything, then I'll do that. Yeah, but I think, sorry, this is a very long-winded answer, but the idea is let's be a Charlie. We don't need to be rude or obnoxious or nasty or selfish. We can think about the bigger picture. And if everybody did that, what an amazing place this world would be. Yeah.
Definitely.
The brighter side of human nature. Yeah.
With rehearsals, were there any funny stories that emerged from that?
Well, I don't know if this is funny, but I have grown a definite hatred for the bouncing sound of a ball. I can't tolerate it. Because in rehearsals, girls decided that ball bouncing would be the best thing ever. So everywhere I go now, if I hear the bouncing of a ball, I start to twitch and get anxious.
Well, every rehearsal was a story in itself, because you're building on this incredible. Well, at first it's just a script in your hand. You can't envision everything like I'm sure Mrs. Hickson-Mahony could at first. But as we went through the rehearsals and we did them, the story just was blooming in front of all of our eyes. So it really was an incredible experience, every single rehearsal, because you're just getting better and better and smoother and smoother.
A highlight for me, sorry Mary, I know you want to jump in there. A highlight for me was the first rehearsal when we had that read through. Everyone sat together, we read through from cover to cover, and we had their parents there as well. So everybody heard what we were trying to achieve, and that was huge for me. Hearing the whole thing kind of come to life in all of your voices was cool.
Yeah, it's the first time you really heard everything together.
And I realized how many lines I had.
And starting right, I'll start learning those today.
Yes. Yeah.
Mary, what
I
are you
think
going to say?
what was really amazing for me is you see fantasy turn from fantasy into reality. And it's amazing to have everything come to life.
What's also incredible is that Roald Dahl wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory many years ago. And we can bring it to life in so many different ways in today's society, and it will still be just as enjoyable.
And as relevant.
Yes. And it's incredibly special to be a part of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I always love the idea that human nature doesn't really change. Everything around us evolves, but we are always the same and all striving to do what is right and to be these good citizens of the world.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So you guys as leads, right? So on the first night, the opening night, how were you feeling? How were the feelings of just knowing you would be on stage for the first time?
I think there was a definite anxiety because we've spent so many nights working and afternoons and weekends, and Mrs. Hickson had put so much work and effort into this, and so there's always going to be a bit of nervousness in backstage. But as soon as you walk on and you see the lights and you see how many people came to watch us and support us, it all melted away, and it was really a magical experience to see it fully come together for the last time.
And you kind of get hooked on that feeling of being on stage. I think once that bug has bitten, it's in you for life. You really don't ever lose that. And there's something very magical. It feeds your soul. It is, if you get it, if you get what I'm saying, you get it.
Yeah.
I think I've got that bug.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
You'll have it forever.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Mary's saying about anxiety. I mean, it was a breeze. I'm kidding. It was
all lies.
It was very nervous. I was very nervous. But after a while, it kind of, you've practiced it so many times that it becomes second nature and it's instinct. And if something goes wrong, we know that we just, either we forge on or we fix it and we make it look like it
help
was
each other.
Yeah, we help each other out. And as Miss Hickson was saying a few days ago, that's what's so important and so magical about being a part of a play and a part of a cast, is that you form these incredible bonds with people that you don't lose.
And I think what's so amazing with the numbers of this cast, it went from 30 to 350, and it's amazing that you're part of something so big with so many people involved.
I love that everyone's got their part to play. Every single person is a piece of the puzzle, and the whole puzzle comes together when everyone's involved. And when we're missing people, we really do miss those elements. It's quite incredible. Definitely. Everyone adds that energy that makes it really stick.
And the costumes just made you guys look 10 times better with the acting. It was just more magical and
Sometimes when you step into a costume, you step into a character. It's quite interesting.
And the people who made the costumes were absolutely fantastic.
Hugely
they captured the
talented.
characters' characteristics and nature beautifully.
So we've got parents of the school to thank for that. They put in hours and hours and days and probably weeks, and I didn't give them that long, so probably a month. But they really they outdid themselves. The costumes are spectacular. Yeah.
Definitely.
We thought the velvet that we bought for my jacket was blue at first, and we searched all over town for purple velvet. And the moment the velvet became a jacket, it was purple. We were so lucky. I don't know what happened, but it was.
It looks great. Everything looks great, actually. Yeah. Can't fault anything.
So I'm sure you guys are excited for the last night, or just feeling a bit sad to end this amazing bond you've created and everything. Yeah,
Definitely. I think it's melancholy because you've spent so much time working to put this together, and it's now the end of it, the road.
But there will be another project down the line.
Oh,
The next thing to look forward to. Yeah, it's been our lives for the first half of the year, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Most Saturdays, we're in that hall practicing.
Yeah.
You're not going to know yourselves. I'm not going to know myself. I'm going to get to sleep in on a Saturday.
I don't know what to do
It's
with
going
myself.
to.
You're
It's
gonna
going.
wake up.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're going to sing the songs on repeat in our heads. Like every night when I go to bed, I can hear that. And every morning when I wake up, Mr. Willy. Out
I
it
just
comes.
The
know
Oompa Loompa
she's what
song.
finds the tickets. Actually, on repeat. in my head a
Oompa
lot.
Loompas, doompa-dee-doo. Yeah, we could sing them all, but I think we should probably wrap up now.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making the time to come talk with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
guys.
Aw.
Welcome to the Rusty Bug Podcast.
Okay, hi all. Today